My name's Jason Morfitt. As Dimitri said, I've previously presented some other work that I've been working on, which looked at a couple of things really. It was the UK's official government PDFs and their adverse event reporting system, and I wrote a tool because the UK one isn't particularly open for data interrogation. I wrote an R and Shiny app that used 500,000 of the VAERS data to allow people to kind of interrogate that. But as Dimitri was saying, I guess partly motivated by that work, where I was looking at PDFs that are created on a weekly basis and overwritten. Those PDFs run to over 100 pages now for each of the major vaccine manufacturers, and interrogating them was a non-trivial task. As Dimitri was saying, I currently do sort of independent research at the moment now, and write tools to sort of support analytics for other purposes. And as you may or may not know, in the US, several tens of thousands of documents will be released by Pfizer, tens of thousands of pages, excuse me, will be released by Pfizer over the coming months. There's been 2 releases, and there's another sort of 4 or thereabouts being planned. So there's a huge volume of PDF data that's coming out that needs a lot of processing, and it clearly can't be done at 55,000 pages a month by the human eye, so it needs tools. So this is one of the sites that we're currently looking at the moment. There's, if I go to the Pfizer documents, so this is the Public Health and Medical Professionals Transparency Documents. This is the organization that won the Freedom of Information Act for Pfizer to publish through the FDA in the States their documents. So there's 166 documents, which doesn't sound much, but when you start looking at them, some of those documents have got over 2,000 pages in. So there's a huge volume of data in there already, and we need some analysis and tools on top of that to kind of help. But the tool that I'm going to show in a second kind of looks at web pages and basically is searching and scanning for PDFs, and then does its analysis on those. It's taken here from another site that Dimitri asked me to kind of use for today, which is one of the Public Health Agency of Canada repositories of some of the PDFs that get published. So the tool I'm going to show, and I'm going to go full screen because I'm running my tool on a staging server at the moment. So if I switch to that, so this is the tool that's being developed. It's very new. It's only maybe a week and a half old, really, of just being on a staging server at the moment. It's called Abstractor. There'll be a number of tools. The keywords finder tool is just the first one, and these various tools that we'll start to add will help process generic PDF. So it could be a website with, as I say, the PHAC data, which is what I'm going to use here, or it could be the Pfizer documents, for example. So it really doesn't mind where the PDFs are. It's the intelligence behind the tools that matters. And so what it does here is we have a drop down list box. So it's basically scanning the data directory at the moment and bringing up all of the PDFs that it can find that we've just seen from here. If I go to the Pfizer document site, it'll basically refresh and start to bring in the PDFs that it can find on those sites. So let's start back from Dimitri's data and start to make it work a little bit. So we get a list of the PDFs from any website that you direct it at here. You can add them all in one go, which when people are searching through the Pfizer documents, that's what they want to do, because they want to search for specific terms through all of those documents. I'm not going to do that because it's going to take a long time. But I might just be interested in some of the reports that get published. So I'll choose a few of these reports. And I could have added them all. Let's do them while we're here. All right, so I put some PDFs I'm interested in searching into the right-hand side. I'll come back to the advanced options in a minute, because that's really where we want to extend things. In the limited time that we've had to write this at the moment, we've really got a very basic keyword search engine. And I want to search, I need some terms. So I'm going to put unvaccinated. That's what I'm interested in. And I might put Ontario. I'll set that going. You'll see things kind of start to scroll up on the right-hand side as it's scanning each of the PDFs now. It's going through each of those. It's pulling out each of the pages and it's line assessing each of those, looking for the keyword matching, and then building a summary of that, which it then presents in the table. So we get a link to the file name. We get the keyword it's matching on. I put unvaccinated and Ontario. Tells me which page it is and which line number it's on. The link itself is quite interesting because I could pick up here. So I've got Public Health Ontario there, for example. If I wanted to follow that link, it'll open the PDF up at that page. So if I do that, research term, there it is.
Yeah.
But that's the line it's been that it's found on that particular page, for example.
Yeah, that's as everyone can see, it becomes a very powerful tool how you can extract data, both text and numbers from the PDF files. And these PDF files, which Jason is processing right now, these are exactly the ones which I've been using, or actually not just myself, a team of scientists were helping me to get the numbers from those PDF files into the spreadsheet, which I've been using. So now we hope to automate the entire process. Now, the challenge, which I guess Jason will tell us more about, is how to match non-exact matches, because sometimes you do not know how the name is spelled, for example, for a disease.
Exactly. So these are very literal, they're case sensitive at the moment. And what we've been discussing really is how to give a richer search interface without expecting everybody to have, a master's degree in computer science and know what regular expressions are. So some of the advanced options that we're exploring, and these haven't been implemented yet, will be some of these features. So the user will be able to turn on and off these kinds of features. So if they want to have more fuzzier matching to allow for some mistakes in typing, using synonyms, these are more flexible capabilities that would allow for a richer, wider search than having just the literal case sensitive search that we've got at the moment. We're thinking about extract tables. I might actually move that into a separate tool on its own, but it might be very handy, for example, if we pull up one of these again, to be able to just pull out all the table twos across all of the PDFs and in effect generate a new summary PDF with all of those in. So it's a kind of a meta PDF based on the search terms that you put in. This is all kind of feature work, really.
I'm looking at the time. We have about 5 minutes left. So again, we're just opening the floor for discussion right now, because here again, it's opportunity for the audience to ask live questions. You can ask questions about anything which has been presented, either about weekly updates from Canada or about this new tool which is being developed by the group of data scientists. Again, what we are specifically seeking the audience, or the feedback from the audience, is what kind of functionalities would you like to get out of these PDF tools? So, for example, one of these was mentioned, it's extracting of tables. In fact, so that we could just generate Excel file from a PDF file with all the data. This would be fabulous. So it's really, it will be probably the most important, at least for us in Canada, to automate the process. Now, the other one is the idea of abstracting or making a summary, automated summary of documents, so that you just like to find all documents which talk about, let's say, heart problems, right? So you have this 100 documents, each 200 pages, and you would just like to get all paragraphs, portions of the text combined in one file, text file, which would be generated, right? So, so Jason, do you remember other ideas we were discussing?
Yeah, no, that we've also looked at text summarizers as well. So I have a tool which I've not shown today, which does exactly that, which basically looks at the semantic and lexical strength of certain sentences and basically pulls the top n number of sentences out and gives, the user can set, the size of the summary that they want for the whole document. The difficulty I'm seeing with that at the moment is domain specific language. So whilst those summarizers are very good at understanding generic stories, I put children's stories through it. It does a really good job of summarizing stories. When you look at very specific domain language, it has more of a, there's more of a challenge with that. So I think there's a lot more work to do that, but we're definitely open to feedback on, what people would like to see in these tools.
Okay. Now I see there is some feedback related to if people would like to contribute to find out more about this. What is the plan? Like, do you want to use the the contributions from other people? What is your plan right now? How would you like?
Yeah. So the plan is we'd like to basically get a GitHub repository set up eventually on this. It's early days. I think we need to just we need to mature the first version and just just react a little bit to that. But I think we'd like to tap into and allow, and the great thing about this environment, it just allows, it's very easily extensible, as you know. So we would like to kind of eventually move to, a community-based platform for open development on it.
And I think this opportunity for us to meet each every Friday, again, it would allow us, everyone, both people who code with data and just any all people who are interested just to learn more about the data. Again, it's the opportunity to learn more about this data. What I was thinking, Jason, maybe you could show a few results from a Pfizer document. So just to get an idea what kind of data are we getting from Pfizer documents.
Yeah, I hope so.
And maybe while you're looking for the data, again, just a little comment on, okay, the little comment to reply. So feedback, by the way. So again, we will be using this tool to get some insights from those different reports. And the idea is to publish those insights as white papers. We don't know yet where to submit those papers. Maybe if anyone knows actually a good venue to submit these white papers, let us know. You know the contact. And again, on Friday, we could potentially just report you the findings. Every Friday, we could show you the new functionality of our tools, but also the new findings from which we obtained from those tools. And again, if you would like to be part of this writing white papers, again, you can contact me. Okay, Jason, you have something.
Yeah, really quickly, I'm noticing the time. We've got about 6 minutes left. So just one on the Pfizer document. So there's 102 PDFs, as you can see in here. I picked the first one. One of the problems we've got some of the PDFs at the moment is that they've come out in image format. So we've got to use some OCR pre-processing on that. But if I just put Canada, so these are being published through the FDA in the US. But if I did this earlier, and it's quite interesting when you do this. So I've just picked one of the documents. I'm not going to do them all because it'll take a long time. But if I just search for that one document and see where the references are for Canada in that document, you can see that there are 10 references in there. And if I just go to have a look at like the first one, let's see what comes up. All right, so this is post-authorization cases, use in pregnancy and lactation. So I think these documents are to do with the post-marketing experience from some of the clinical trials. And there's mention of, in those clinical trials, how many I think are being used in pregnancy and lactation, as it said. So there are references to Canada throughout this document. While I'm here, I might as well just use the standard search. So you can see that there are picked up 11 references here. So there are references in those documents, but rather than me opening 120 of them and doing my searches as I'm doing here at the moment, what we're trying to do is overcome that and allow a tool to sort of sit on top of it, so to speak.
Oh, that's
yeah,
excellent.
that's about it, I think, really, for what we're doing at the moment.
This is actually, it's very good, because I think this really shows us how you can automatically extract the numbers from, let's say, from any report related to Canada, for example, and the vaccine.
Yeah.
So there was a quick
Yeah, we're just
question
trying to
there.
provide a search layer that sits on top of all of those PDFs at a very simple level at the moment.
Yeah, excellent. We have 3 more minutes, and there was a question, would there be a way to correlate data from different reports or from different provinces, for example, from Ontario with data from UK and let's say US? Because I guess that's what is very interesting to get. It's not about just your tool, it's about, I guess, general way of presenting and analyzing the data related to vaccines, because we have data reported by different provinces, by different countries, and it would be valuable, apparently, just to aggregate this data in one place, maybe, so that we could see whether we have the same, let's say, proportions or numbers when we talk about efficacies, for example. When we talk about safety of vaccines, for example, you showed us data last week comparing deaths from vaccine versus deaths from COVID in UK, right? The question is, is it the same in Canada or elsewhere? Do we have any information which would allow people to generalize the data which was obtained from UK into other countries or regions? Do you have any insights on that, Jason?
Yeah, well, the short answer is no, I don't. But I think these things are quite possible. It just depends on, unfortunately, the UK, it's trying to get a common format, and there are different formats for each of the countries at the moment, and that's where we as data scientists perhaps have skills to bring some commonality in the abstraction layer that gives us then something that we can work with on top. But they're in all different formats at the moment. I don't know what it's like in Canada, but certainly the US seems to have one of the better systems for interrogation, but the UK one's certainly all PDF based at the moment and very proprietary.
I had one idea related to that. In fact, I started discussing it with my colleagues in the government of Canada, is that we could develop a collection of metrics, performance metrics in general. And on that spreadsheet, which we have discussed, we're actually using right now 3 metrics there. And perhaps we can talk more about that next time. Different metrics which are related to efficacy. The one is called odds. The other one is called risk of complications, being infected. You see, it's a different one. It's if you are infected with the COVID, what is the likelihood that you will actually die or you will have a complication being infected? You see, it's slightly different. So it's a conditional probability. And we do have statistics on that in the spreadsheet. So we can develop a set of metrics and then essentially apply the same set of metrics for any data we have a chance to analyze. Okay, another question here. Even if your integrated report is showing the available data from each jurisdiction as much as it is available. Yes, so I guess the idea is really just to get all the data combined, possibly maybe just to aggregate it somewhere. And so we could essentially correlate. There are many reports being issued in different places. Some of them, by the way, do contain errors, and I have already seen some of these in some non-scientific places, let's put it this way. In some blogs, I've seen some reports which in fact do make mistakes, and we do never cite those reports. By the way, we only use official data, and we only directly compute all our numbers from official data. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.